Club. This is the Coffee Break Show, and today we are going to rock your world. It's the Wednesday welcome guest, and today we have Brian G. Johnson. Now, before we start, listen, if you're new here, do me a favor, put your name down below, and we want to know you, like you, trust you. Welcome to the Coffee Break Show. We go live Monday through Friday, and what we do is share tips, inspiration, motivation. We get together and create thrivability and conversation. Everybody coming on, welcome aboard. So glad to see you guys coming on today. So what is going to happen if you've been here? If you've been here since the beginning, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're on YouTube, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Good morning. And everybody's on. Look at this. I agree. We are so excited for today because we have the man. We have Brian G. Johnson on it. Now, everybody knows who Brian G. is, but look at this. People are running on. Hey, it's Brian. Thank you for coming on, people. I just want to say welcome, welcome, welcome. But I have a special place in my heart for Brian because he's the guy that I hired as my coach to help me go live. And I want to let you know that when I first met him, I had spoken on stages. I've been in stages all over the world. I have several books out, and I was still scared to go make a YouTube show. I was still scared to go live. I was so scared, and I didn't know why at the time. So I hired Brian, and I was like, Brian, I know I need to do this, and I'm really scared, and blah, blah, blah. And he said, all right, let's get down to the nitty gritty. What are you scared of? And the first thing I said was, well, I don't have the right equipment. And he says, that's not true. All you need, and I literally got this right here is exactly what Brian said to get. I still have it. This is how the Coffee Break Show started. This little phone, this little microphone looking like this. This is the first set of things he told me to get. And so he said, now you have it. You started. And I couldn't start. I wouldn't start. It was a week later. And he was like, okay, you are not dealing with the real here, Vickie. Why are you afraid to start? And I was like, okay. What it boiled down to was I was afraid of other people's judgments. I was afraid because I was chubby that I was going to get a bunch of haters going on that were not going to like me. And he talked me through it. And together we went live a few times, just me and him. Then we did a couple of videos. We did the videos and he taught me how to edit the videos. Then he was like, you just got to do it. You just got to do it. So he pushed me out of my comfort zone. You just got to do it. And I am just shy of 400 shows later, having a completely different experience because of Brian G. Johnson. And today, this is the guy who wrote the book. This is it. If you know anything about YouTube, you know that he is the smash hit guy that teaches everybody how to use it. Please help me welcome my friend and my coach, Brian G. Johnson. I was like, Robert, I saw Robert over here. Robert Stern, he said hi. And I was like, Robert, oh, hi. It's Brian G. Johnson. Welcome, everyone. So look at this. We got a lot of people on who are just, hey. Thank you, Brian G. Thanks for being here. Welcome to the show.
It is great to be here, Vickie. I got to say, it was just such a pleasure for me to hear you tell that story because, like, I've been in the trenches and I felt all the feels just like you. Like, we're all human beings. We're all trying to make this thing happen. It's a lot. There's a lot of technology involved.
Yeah.
And then we got the real stuff, like what happens up here and what if people don't accept me, or what if the videos aren't good enough, or what if this happens? What if my dogs bark? It just never, ever ends. And it was just really nice to hear you kind of share some of those memories. And I had forgotten about that because it's like after, 4 years and hundreds of videos and live streams and just always just trying to move forward, you forget. And it's like, we did have those times and I did mention I just get started with a mobile phone. And it's funny, I'm actually going back to that now. I've got fancy cameras and I love to go outside with an iPhone and a simple microphone. And it's absolutely stunning what you can create.
Yeah.
The tech is not the thing that drives results. And quite frankly, I believe, and the thing is, it's true too. It's like what really drives results is when you have an ability to connect with another human being that has a kind of a bond with you. There's some kind of connection between the two. Like maybe you're a little further on the journey. Maybe you want to achieve some kind of success with writing a book, or maybe launching a video podcast or a regular, whatever it is. It's like, that's the thing. It's really the human connection that we share online that
Yes.
drives results. And I'm so glad you took a leap of faith. In the beginning, it's either fear or faith, and I'm in both ponds at times. I
Yeah.
think we all are. But you went out there, you did it, and you ran on faith for a while, which is hard. And now look, you're doing fantastic. You've got this lively show. These cool guests come on, and I'm so very excited and happy for you. So well done.
Thank you. Thank you. And it comes with a lot of hard work. But one of the things I want to tell you that is so important that I learned from you, and I kind of want to let you expand on this as well. You guys, I told you we're going to bring guests on that are going to help you with the post-pandemic, new life, new normal, etc. And one of the best things in the world, one of the most powerful things you can do in the world is have a community, a tribe, a listening to this. But he said something that was so important. He said, it's not the technology that's going to get you there. It's the consistency that's going to get you there. And one of the things that I learned from you that to this day, I'm so grateful for, he said, Vickie, they don't want your perfection. They want your authenticity. And I have a very good memory for this. And I want to say this because you have to get comfortable with making mistakes. But I want you to say more, Brian, about why is it that people don't want perfection, they want authenticity, and how is that going to help you create connection on your channel and just being yourself?
Yeah, so I think I'm going to expand on that a little bit. So at the end of the day, I believe there are probably 2 or 3 really strong reasons why people follow other people online. And if you can really get clear on what those things are, and then you can strive to make that happen, like you have to know your value. When I wrote Trust Funnel, one of the things I talked about was playing your hand. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
times when we're new, we feel like I have nothing to add. I haven't done anything. I'm not important. I don't
Yes.
understand. But the fact of the matter is, one of the things that will really create someone else following another person is relatability. And that kind of relates also to authenticity. If you come off as someone that maybe isn't an expert, but is just a little bit further down the path than the person watching, it's really easy to relate to that individual. And then you're both sharing a similar journey. So a lot of the pals that I have, they are on the YouTube journey, and we all really encourage each other, and we share the good times, the bad times, what we're struggling with, and we relate to one another. And that's one of the core fundamentals of building a following. So when you get clear, number one, on what you're trying to achieve. So one of the things to consider is that a lot of times we want to dabble and do all the things. And quite honestly, that's really hard to do when establishing a tribe or a following, because people follow those people that have tremendous results. People watch
Yes.
the Olympics to watch people do amazing things.
Mm-hmm.
So what you can do is you choose one. Like I decided I'm going to get good at YouTube, not just video, but
Yeah.
YouTube. I'm not really on Instagram. I guess people tell me I should be there, and I don't have a LinkedIn account. I don't even have a LinkedIn account. That's crazy. But I can tell you what I got. I got a YouTube channel that in the last 48 hours has driven 30,000 views. And when I started, I just stayed consistent with that message. So what that means is, for those people that are also interested in YouTube growth, I might not have the crazy success. I might not be a rock star yet, but when we both share the commonality of trying to figure out YouTube, and I'm relatable and I'm authentic, it's easy for people to follow along with my journey. And here's where it gets kind of good. This is where it gets fun, is that you're going to have people that are non-believers. You can't get away from that. But over time, the more you stick with it, the more you do it, the more likely you'll build the results you're after. And the more likely you're going to pull some of those non-believers into the believer camp. And after a period of time, what happens is you kind of transition from a newbie to an expert or a guru. Like,
Yeah,
I think you use this word genius. You must be crazy. I'm not a genius. I'm just a guy that's a knucklehead, and I don't give up. And I keep doing the same thing again and again. And
totally.
literally, all I do is I share, hey, I did this. It didn't work too good, but then I tried this and it worked excellent. And
You
if I
totally
can do
do
it,
that.
yeah. And when you do that, you become not a guru, not an expert, not someone you can approach at an event, but someone that you can feel like you're a pal with and someone you can trust and whatnot. And I think that's the core of being authentic. And
Yeah.
at the same time, like I think about my journey when I started, I don't want to say I was inauthentic, but I had a lot of layers of stuff over. I was acting goofy and silly, and I think I'll always be a quirky guy. But today when I make my videos, it's interesting. I can do videos in a lot of different styles because I've practiced so much. But a lot of times it's me. I just step up to the microphone and I
Yeah.
say, hey, I'm going to share a really neat strategy that you can use to get more views or subscribers, really tapping into the audience wants. So that's a little bit of rambling on
But
authenticity
it's
and
so important because the reason as you were talking about it, I can name the videos in my mind that went through on my mind screen. I could see everything that you've built, and I watch because you said something so important. It's like, I'm not an expert. I'm just a guy who's consistent, and I will continue to make videos. And you know what? The thing you told me back then is it's like you have to make incremental improvements. You don't have to go from, hi, I really suck at this, to super expert all at once. And, God, this place over on the side, let me just go over here for a second. This is, I'm going to go back up and just be relatable, authentic, and consistent. Stephen says, you can only be a phony so long and it will catch up. People look for honesty and authentic messages. And that's why I build my following on positive love. I agree with that. So it's so true, Stephen. That's so true. I love that. What a great attitude and what a great approach. But here's the thing, incremental things over time that happen. This is the thing that you have to embrace. I had to really learn it. Now, I want to let you know, before I hired Brian to coach me, I had spoken all over the world. I've been on stage with Eckhart Tolle and a bunch of other people and etc. And the times that I have been working together and being with this, it's very different when you hit a fear button. And it doesn't matter how good you are, where you've been, or what you think you are, or what expert, you always have a fear button. There's something that is always, always going to stretch you. The one thing I learned from Brian that I think is so important is exactly what Joan is saying here. Brian, you embrace your humanness. And he was like, Vickie, you need to embrace your humanness. And I believe that there is a point where you have to let go of your ego and begin to serve your client or your crowd. And that letting go of your ego, and there's two pieces here that I love about Brian's approach, because right now we're talking about who you have to be on camera. Behind the scenes, we're going to talk about what you do to go ahead and start to get yourself out there. But the first thing is, what's your attitude, point of view, and what's your actual mental piece when you get there? You have to be willing to make mistakes. You have to be willing to look stupid. You have to be willing to be authentic. You have to be willing to put yourself out there, warts and all. And I get that. That's the thing that I learned from Brian. You don't have to be perfect. You have to make incremental improvements. The second thing is, I want to talk about YouTube. I want to talk the State of the Union about YouTube with you and why it's such a great opportunity. And why is it that what you can do with it? How can they profit from it? How can they absolutely get out there and take advantage of the platform?
Yeah, for me, it's really simple, and that is, it's a combination of a few things that just add up to an incredible opportunity. Number one is YouTube pays people. So right
Mm-hmm.
now, I'm on track to make about $1,000 with my YouTube channel for doing the same thing we're doing right now. We're creating a piece of content. There's Brian Rogers, one of my coaching students, and he's great.
He's
He's doing
awesome.
some neat stuff in the vegan community and whatnot. And anyway, like I was saying, on YouTube, when you create a video and you establish yourself as a partner, as a YouTube channel that YouTube itself sees value in, when YouTube sees that, hey, there's an audience behind this channel, let's reward this creator with monetization, you start making money. So like yesterday, or not yesterday, a few days ago, I published a video and I think it made like $30 or $40 within a few days, which isn't a lot of money. But then I looked back at one of my more successful videos that I launched in 2019, and that video had driven over $1,000. Again, this is a piece of content I spent maybe a day producing, and every month I'm getting basically around $1,000, upwards of $2,000 per month to create content, and that is just the base YouTube. And furthermore, the other thing to really focus on, and this is the thing that I don't think any other platform offers, period. And that is when you create a piece of content and the audience says, yes, this piece of content is valuable. Now, here's what's up. Let's just get right straight to it and let's be honest and open.
Yeah.
You don't get to decide. You don't get to decide this video is good. I get that a lot. And I'm like, you need to stop and check yourself, because if you want to grow, it doesn't matter what you think. It matters what the audience thinks. And when you practice and you keep making those incremental improvements, over time, you will publish a video that will gain traction and it will live on and drive views and visibility for your business. And it will drive email opt-ins, and it will drive sales to the funnels you create, and it will get you on stages. It will do all the things that we all want.
Yeah.
And it won't stop after 2 days. It won't stop after 2 months. I have videos that I published on my channel when my channel was 10 days old. So, there's a poodle.
Wow.
10 days old. And those videos are still driving 50, 100 views every single day 4 years later. They've driven hundreds of thousands of views. And that is the power that separates YouTube from everything else. So like, you publish a video and it does well, and it's going to grow your business on a residual basis, meaning it's hands off. And that is super, super powerful and something to think about.
We have a question out there. Do you have any listeners currently who use YouTube as a business tool? How is it? Because to me, I like the creator content. And if you had to start right now, from scratch, you have no following, no nothing. Name 3 things you would do before to get your YouTube channel off to a good start. And also, Brian, if you could speak to, what if you had a YouTube channel and let's say you had 3,000 people on it as subscribers and you stopped for a year or 2, how would you regenerate that? How would you get that off the ground as well?
Sure. So
Thanks for the questions, guys.
If I started from scratch, the first thing I would do is get really clear. This is absolutely critical, and this is the core of success. I would get really clear on who I'm making video content for and what they want. It sounds very simple and it's incredibly challenging. It's not. It's kind of like it's like chess, where you can learn chess in a weekend and you can get some basic ideas, but the depth that you can go in truly understanding an audience is very, very powerful. When you understand what someone wants, it's much easier to create a piece of content that they truly enjoy. What gets hard is when you're just getting started and you really don't know, which is, I think, where most people begin. But you can jumpstart that by really doing research and getting crystal clear on what the audience is, what they want rather, and then really focusing on their needs. The more you do recon, the more you do research around the audience. What is it they want? What keeps them up at night? What are their struggles? What are the things that they want beyond views? Why are they here? The more you get clear on that, the more you can craft a video that addresses those very things, and the more success you're going to have. So that's the first step. The second step then is to really embrace the fact that your job, and here's the thing, you just qualified this by saying, we want growth. We want money, views, and audience. And that means that we have to value the audience. A lot of
Yes.
people that are creative, whether you're an entrepreneurial creative, whether you're an artist on the street, we get confused with what we want versus what the audience wants. And if you don't, again, honor the audience and take yourself out of it, at that point, you're in a really dangerous position because you're focused on your needs and wants versus the audience. So that's kind of like two, but also kind of connected to part one. And then the third thing I would say is to get really good at, I call it the tube trifecta. I wonder if I still have it around. Maybe it's this one. Oh, look at this. This is awesome. This is like this right here sums it up. Like if you
Nice.
memorize this, it's everything that you want in growing an audience anywhere on the planet. And that is, you begin there with the audience. So I just talked about that. And you've got to focus on the value that's here, right? And
Yep.
what you want to think about is the channel you're going to create. So that's over here. It's mirrored. So I'm like trying to deal with the mirror. And then the growth you get is based on each individual video you publish. And you really want to focus on the core elements that really matter to the audience. Thing is, so many people get overwhelmed and really focus on like SEO stuff. And we're talking about a video. People connect with the human being in the voiceover if it's a podcast, how they tell a story if it's a podcast, or how they come across on camera if it's a video. And you want to focus on the core elements, the value that the audience is looking for. For example, a lot of people will say, well, what about closed captions? If I pay $2 a minute and get my video closed captions, it's like, not the growth that you're looking for. Like what really matters is you, the topics, how you share about those topics, the value you bring.
Yes.
So the more we focus on these elements, the better. Now, I'm going to throw in a bonus. The best way to jumpstart all of that is to get really good with 4 elements. And I'm in the frame now. 4
There you
elements.
are. Yeah.
Okay, topics. You choose topics based on what? The audience. So every video is based on topics the audience deems valuable. Number 2 is you get really good at crafting video titles that are based on keyword phrases as well as what I call compelling elements. So think clickbait. People tell me I clickbait all the time, and that's because I drive a lot of views. I make people click. And here's the thing. Most people, by the time they get to the end, they find value in what I do. So they subscribe, they leave a comment, they engage. YouTube serves them another video because the audience is engaging. They're watching most of the video. They're watching multiple videos. They're doing all the things that matter. So again, we have topics. We have a title that has a keyword, and it's also really compelling. Like my video this morning the title was like awesome. The incredible opportunity to grow on YouTube now. And the thumbnail said COVID-19 and your channel. Now that's kind of controversial.
Yeah.
Some people are like, oh my God, you're trying to bank off COVID-19. And I get it, because I felt that way too. But you know what? This is the new norm. Our world has changed. And like, I think we have an opportunity to embrace the fact that everyone's home. Views are up. That's what the video was about. Publish a video. Well, if you're afraid, try to get over that. Call a friend. Talk yourself through it.
Call a friend. Can I dial a friend?
It's funny. Like literally, check this out. Like it doesn't get any more real time. Like talk about living this. I took a screenshot because bonus tip. Anytime you do this stuff, you always want to take screenshots so you can document and really talk about and tell people, what you want to strive for. So if you want success, you want this message to pop open or pop up in YouTube. And it says, this video is popular. Why? Because I made the thumbnail, the title, and the topic based on the audience. People are choosing it more often. That means they're clicking it more. That's good. More views. From recommendations. People are clicking it more from recommendations. And then get this. And they're watching it longer than normal. So YouTube is telling me that I'm doing all the things. I'm getting the audience to click more. They're watching longer. And that means YouTube is going to be more likely to promote that video. And why? Because I really focus on these 4 items. Topic, title, thumbnail. And then lastly is really dialing in all of these things together and being compelling. It's kind of like the clickbaity thing again. Thumbnail, title, topic. Let's go with 3. Those are really the 3 core elements of success. That's like half of the success of your video.
So how would you help someone who maybe had a channel and let it die and now wants to kind of rejuvenate it again, and grow it in an organic way, just like we're doing? And I want to tell you this, that the reason that I love Brian's work is, if you look around, we're going to talk about this because this is real wealth building right here. When you build a tribe, a group, an organic piece of work that you're building over time, that will pay you, just keep paying you and keep paying you. This is what's Brian's built. And he does not shortcut. He does not. He is the probably most researched guy I know. Trust me, he really researches. I know this. But let's say now let's say you had to get a job for a year and now you want to redo your channel or something, and you're reopening something that was, let's say it's been dormant for a few years and it has like 1,000 to 3,000 people in it, or 5,000. Sure.
So the first thing, we have to go back to the audience because that's the most important thing. And the first thing we have to assess with an older channel is how well was the creator at really focusing on one very specific audience and the needs of that audience. Oftentimes, the answer is maybe not as good as I could have been. I was talking about Facebook, and then I jumped over and I was trying to be a WordPress guru. And it's like the more you can focus on one specific thing, doesn't mean you can't branch out, but you really have to do it in a very strategic manner, because you can't throw like a bunch of different topics at people and expect them to continue to engage. If someone subscribes for Italian cooking and you upload the latest Call of Duty gaming video, don't be surprised if you get nothing. Like, hey, what's the matter? I want to be a big YouTuber too. Well, hold on. You're trying to serve multiple audiences. So if the creator did a good job of really focusing on one audience, then it's just business as usual. You continue and you publish and you serve that audience and you do your best to stay consistent. Now, here's the good news. You say I'm consistent, and I have been, but I've also been inconsistent, and I've gone for maybe 3 months, 4 months with
I saw that video
a month, one video a month. Yeah. And thank goodness I really was focused and I really pushed hard, and I wasn't trying to build my Instagram following and my YouTube channel and my LinkedIn. I don't even got a LinkedIn account. That's easy. I'm a YouTube guy. So by the time I took those breaks, I had an audience. I was able to come back, and actually what happened was I blew up. I got really focused, like you're talking about. I got really engaged with the audience. I had been improving the baseline skills, because on YouTube, it's skills for subs. If you want subscribers, you've got to get the skills to pay the bills. That means you've got to be really good with your graphics and your titles. It's like you got to be a copywriter writing a headline for your video title. And then literally you get going and you focus and you make the same content you did. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people are like, oh, and I want to change I want to change now. I want to go from cooking to gaming. Now what do I do? And at that point, that's dangerous. And what I would say is start a new channel, and now you've got two covering two different topics. I think that's smarter. But also note, it's incredibly challenging to have one successful channel. Most people can't do it. So when you're dividing your time and your attention, you're also dividing the likelihood that you're going to be able to get the momentum to propel you forward. That's what we want early, is we want to see a little bit of momentum because it gives us steam. Like Vickie, let me ask you, after you published 100 videos and you started to, did you see something happening when you started getting that momentum going?
Yes, that's such an interesting thing that you say. And Joan, I see your question. So does he. We'll answer that in a second. We got questions and people coming in. Brian, I was just thinking this as you said this. I have grown so much in ways that were so unexpected by going live or choosing my platform and doing these shows. And one of the most important things is there has been growth over a period of time. We get kind of like these little quantum blips that go up like that, if you know what I mean. They're
Sure.
just suddenly, and then we plateau and the blip goes back up. And so in this particular space, every time that we've grown a little bit, we've added, we've researched, we've asked the question, how can we serve them better, et cetera, and what do they want to know? So yeah, we have a question right now from Joan. Is it better to publish daily or weekly? And Brian, that is a good question. And even just daily, weekly, what's the answer to that one?
So let me do this. I'm going to take a 30-second break. I'm going to let my dogs outside.
Sure.
I'll be back in 30 seconds, and I'm super excited to share this because I know exactly what to do, and it's super powerful.
Awesome. Thank you very much. So, with your questions, everybody, I got to say, I see you all up in here, and we know that Joan's got, Brian G. Johnson has 100. I'm going to just back up here. This is like this. There it is. He's got 116 subscribers, 116,000 subscribers. His Facebook page has like some 15, 20,000 people on it. He is the YouTube guy. This is the guy that has all the answers you need to grow, to maximize, to take advantage of the opportunities that are YouTube. And so what I really enjoy the question, because I've had this question in my mind all the time. I'm like, is it better to publish on a daily or a weekly basis? How do we know? How can we grow our channel or things? And to me, one of the interesting things is when I worked with Brian, YouTube Live didn't even exist. He was like, it didn't. And now it's this new platform, not sure how to use it. We're just using it now to get it in there. But the question is it better to publish daily or weekly? Welcome back, Mr. Poodle Wrangler. Put a little pixie dust on this.
We live at elevation, don't we, Vickie?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
I've been here a long time and still going up a few stairs.
Yeah.
7,000 feet.
You're at 8,100.
You're at 8,100.
Yeah, I'm in Southern Colorado. I'm by you, but I'm like 2 hours from you.
Right. So here's what's up. At the end of the day, we're talking about two different strategies. And again, I'm in the frame now, and they're both very effective. And the thing I want to encourage you with is keep it really simple and publish videos. The more you can remove all that crap from your head and all that thinking, and you can get down to publishing, the better you're going to be, especially if you're focused on improving the most important things. And Vickie, remind me, let's talk about like the incremental way to make sure you're going to get to be a badass and absolutely blowing up, because I have a very specific thing. But if you just focus on the most important things and you keep publishing, you're going to grow fast. Now, here's, as far as like, is there a better way? What I found is doing both is incredibly powerful. And here's why. Now, if you're just getting started, I would say early, publish a lot of videos and do your best to just be okay with where things are at and put yourself on a deadline. So when I started my channel, I remember I basically went for 56 days in a row, daily, a new video every day for 56 days. And that was probably and I should mention that each video probably takes me between 5 and 10 hours to publish. Back then, the kind of stuff I was doing now, it's interesting. I can create a great video in 4, 5, 6 hours, but sometimes I'll spend as much as 30 hours on one piece of content. So when you're talking about quantity or quality, I can do both. And because I've done both, it's really jump-started my skills. So one of the things I like to say is skills for subs. If you want subscribers, you want to focus on the skills. When you're just getting started, the skills you're going to learn are how do I turn on the camera?
That's right. That's right.
How do I get the lighting so it looks good? What about my frame? Is my frame, that's the box I'm in. And sometimes you can see I'm like repositioning my fingers if I'm getting 3 tips or whatever, because I want to know I'm in the frame. That matters to me. It's a thing I've taught myself to constantly be checking. And I guess let's just kind of roll into this thing about incremental improvements. So literally, I've taught something called the looping method for many years now, and it's incredibly powerful because it really takes all the stuff that we focus on when it comes to video and distills it down into like 12 items that you focus on. Like YouTube tags are a great example. People say, well, how do I do my tags? And I'm like, well, just throw some stuff in there, find some keywords, put the keywords in the tags, and that's powerful. But you don't want to focus on your tags for forever. Being a copywriter, creating a really great headline or video title that's something you never stop striving to improve. So the thing I want to encourage for everybody, we'll cover all these questions too, by the way. The thing I want to encourage with everybody is to write these things down. And Vickie, I'm just gonna rattle some things off top of my head. And we'll get these details to the viewers, but these are the things to focus on. So like number 1 would be your video backdrop. You see the lights right there? That took me a while to figure out. I've got my book. It's not like, look at my bookcase. It's not like just thrown together. It's not a mess. I spent time on my backdrop because that's what people look at your backdrop. It drives me crazy. People go out and they spend $3,000 on a fancy camera and then they film a crappy looking, dirty, messy office. Don't do that. That's stupid. Can we all agree that's just damn stupid? Can I say damn and stupid on your show?
Well, right now you can. Now, I want to let you know this is blowing up, and I know we're over time. Are you okay staying with us?
Yeah, no, we'll stay. We'll stay. This is fine for me. I've got a few different live trainings, so we'll hang in there. So first is the backdrop. Second is your video quality, and frankly, most cell phones today have superb video quality.
Yes,
but what you want to think about too is like the lighting. So that's 3 now: backdrop, video quality, lighting, super important. Your audio is also key. As soon as I got on, Vickie said, "Oh, your audio is awesome." That's because my audio matters, because if these things are not good, they will create a roadblock for your viewers. When someone clicks on a video and the audio sucks, you've done it, right? You're like, oh, and you can't focus after 12 seconds and you click away. So that's like 4 or 5 things. Now, another thing would be keywords. You really want to focus on and learn keywords.
Yes, that is the number 1 thing I learned from you. The absolute number 1 thing is the keywords and the placement of that. It just was that whole thing. Say more about that.
Yeah, so that's, again, these are all the elements. So the next item is the keywords, and these are literally just the words that people are searching to find the content you just published, or even better, you're gonna publish. So when you go to YouTube and you're thinking, I want to create a video about the new iPhone for video, you type in iPhone video and you see all these suggestions, keyword suggestions, and you make videos based on those. And then you incorporate those in your video title. So that's another thing you have to always be focused on in striving to improve. So when you combine all these things together, you're focused on keywords, audio, lighting, you're focused on the most important thing, but we're only looking at 10 to 12 items. it's super powerful. And what you do then, if we go back to our first question, is should I publish more videos often or really good videos? You're always assessing your last video, and then you simply choose one thing. You're like, my audio kind of sucked. If I was honest with myself, my audio needs improvement. And you don't do anything. You don't think about like creating thumbnails and light. You just, hey, I have to not just learn about audio. I have to improve my audio. And in your next video, because you're constantly publishing videos, you focus on your audio, and you do that until your audio is better. And then on your next video, you go back to the list and you say, I don't really get this keyword stuff. Okay, I'm going to really focus on keywords. And you continue to do this, and over time, the value of your video rises, and you get to a point where the audience catches up, and they're like, "Wow, you've really improved. I really like what you're doing," and that's the sign of kind of a swell of views and subscribers and growth and whatnot. Like I published a video 3 days ago that's got 14,000 views on it. That's pretty amazing, and it's like.
That's incredible.
And it's based on just really focusing on the most important things. Our next question is, how do I create a thumbnail? So that's another element.
A boatload of questions.
Okay, we'll talk about that. So the way you create a thumbnail is, number one, simplicity rocks. Simplicity is the most important thing. And I just thought about this the other day. I'm so excited to share this, Vickie. Holy smokes, can you feel my passion for YouTube?
Yes, I totally, I've always known it.
It's subtle, but it's really powerful. It's not about art. It's not about a pretty thumbnail or a cool looking thumbnail. It's about the message that you convey to the audience. So we talked about audience. It's about the message you convey in the video title and in the thumbnail. So when you look at my videos, a lot of times it's like, sometimes I'll go contrarian, which means if everybody is zigging, I'm zagging.
That's right.
I published a video in 2019 that said how to grow your YouTube channel fast. And the thumbnail was just a simple red thumbnail with 2 words in the middle. And the 2 words were stop uploading.
Stop uploading.
Stop.
And that was the key. Stop uploading. Oh yeah, that is contrarian.
It's like, huh? How could that even be? And I basically kind of went off, and the core of that video was a message. So when I say what's important is the message, and you have to get really clear with the hook in the message, is that if you're just like making videos and you're doing all this stuff and you're not focused on creating great thumbnails, and you're not trying to create a really powerful, compelling hook or element, if you're not trying to improve your audio, then you're missing the most important stuff. So the reason the thumbnail said stop uploading is I wanted people to realize that as soon as you hit the publish button, it's over. Yeah. You don't get another chance at that video. You really have to strive to improve. And I wanted people to think about all these elements we're talking about. So the best way, so how do you actually create it then? So as far as how to create a thumbnail, I would say first study graphic design. And what I always say is follow professional work that is proven. Where can you find that? Movie posters are great. Think about Jaws. When I say Jaws and movie poster, you already know what it looks like. It's memorable. It's simple. It's a shark coming up through the water. It's the little girl is paddling.
Big teeth with the little legs going.
Yeah, it's like it's burned into your cranium.
Yeah.
And it's a really simple and clear message, and it's not busy. A lot of people they take their title, and the title is this long title, and they try to cram all the words in the title and the thumbnail.
Yep.
And that makes it hard for the viewers to comprehend. So when you think of thumbnail, remember, you're trying to convey a powerful message that's going to make them click. And they're not going to read You're just going to grab attention with the thumbnail, and then they're going to look at your title. Use Canva is a great way to create thumbnails.
Excellent. Love Canva.
I create my thumbnails on a $5 app called Pixelmator. I've created all my thumbnails on my iPad. It's a great tool. It's not that you have Photoshop. It's just that you understand the fundamentals, and you do well. Like I've got a coaching client. She's got a Samoyed dog, and she got Photoshop, and I was like, oh goodness, like no, you don't need Photoshop. You just need a good looking thumbnail that's easy to understand. And I said, do this. Go to this website, buy a package of 25 credits for $20, and get really high quality photos of a Samoyed and put that in your thumbnail. And that's job done.
You're done.
Instead of spending $20 a month on Photoshop, spend $20 for 20 great images, and you'll save a boatload of time. So it's really about making simple, clear, easy to understand titles and thumbnails, and really copy successful graphic designers. So posters, books are another example. It's pretty simple. It's like you get the idea. It's a funnel. It's a trust funnel. It's like at the top we got social media, and at the bottom, hopefully there's some money coming out. So those are some things to think about when it comes to thumbnails.
So with that thumbnail thing, I think we even use, I think we have Blaster Suite or something. Thumbnails shouldn't be complicated now. They have apps and stuff that help you make this easier. And I agree with you. It should be simple. Next question came in. How long should each video be? How long should each video be? Interesting question, because I have asked that myself. And what's your recommendation, sir?
The thing to really understand is what YouTube values is watch time. And that is a metric that seems simple, and yet it's pretty deep. And what really matters isn't necessarily the length of the video you publish, but how long that audience watches. So when I shared that graphic with you just a minute ago, Vickie, I want to pull it up again because this kind of ties in. It says, let's see if I can.
There.
Let me try. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, that's good
video
right there.
is popular. People are choosing it more often from recommendations and watching it longer than usual. So what you want to get a sense of is your job is to keep viewers watching your video longer.
Yes.
Now, when you start out, you might make videos and they might be 10 minutes long, right? You're making a 10-minute video, and then you start studying your analytics and you're like, oh boy, it turns out my average view duration, which is the measurement of how long they watch on average, is 2 minutes. Now, if you're spending the time for a 10-minute video and most of the audience is gone by 2 minutes, maybe it makes more sense to make a 5 or 10-minute video. And then at that point, your goal is to keep viewers watching. I want to share, write this down. If you're watching and you're getting value from this, go to my channel and watch a video I published about 3 days. The title is something like How to Get More Views on YouTube in 3 Minutes. And I literally talk about cutting out calls to action, cutting out chunks of my video, shortening the video, but then I do something super sneaky and I make it really clear for the viewers to click and watch another video. So what happens is
you are so good at that.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, it was pretty cool because like when you do that, most people might get 2% of the audience will click and watch another video. Well, when I do my method, I get 20% of my viewers to go watch the next video. So what happens is you're actually compounding your watch time, and you're publishing shorter videos. So you're getting more watch time, you're getting more views, and so on. Now, the other thing to think about, I just want to throw this in there. When I read that little snippet from the analytics, It said people are choosing your video more often from recommendations. Now what they're really talking about there, if I was a geek, I would say they're talking about CTR, or click-through ratio, which is the percentage of viewers that are clicking on my thumbnail. Now, obviously, if watch time matters to YouTube and I get more people to click on my thumbnail, which gives me a view, then I'm going to get more watch time as well. So you're far better off to simply, and I'm going to go right back to this, it always, always, always comes back to the audience.
Yep.
If you focus on what the audience values and you get them to click more often on your thumbnail, you're going to get more views, more watch time, more subscribers. And that is the thing to really focus on. Don't really extend the length of your video. Just try to keep them watching. And sometimes the easiest way to do that is to cut out all the fluff and get right into it.
You know what's interesting too, because I remember asking these questions in the beginning. I remember, like, how long is the video? How long is, you think somehow that there's some sort of magic thing, but really it's the micro pieces that he's talking about. And one of the things that you just said that I thought was so interesting. It's like, well, if you're making a 10-minute video and there's only 2 minutes in there that people are watching, you might want to cut it back to a 5-minute video and actually get, a better views of what's going on. And what's interesting about what you just said, Brian, is that what is interesting about YouTube that I'm not sure is on any other platform, it's that the skill sets of using YouTube and the skill sets of presenting for YouTube are so important. And the key thing that I'm really looking at, and they're still on fire over on the sides. You guys, I see you. I don't want to run them to death, but I want to make sure that we have this in kind of a wrap field. We are looking at serving your client in such a way because you know them so deeply, you know what they want so deeply, being authentic in your presentation, because that's part of what's going to capture these things. And there is simplicity in this. There's incremental improvements over time. And everybody that's on, I know that, thank you for putting up that video, guys. I just want to let you know, both Joan and Karen have put up the video he's talking about right there. So you just click on it. But I want to go to a couple of things. Brian G is really great. And so what I want is, please put his Facebook group link in there too, because he's got a YouTube group that I belong to and have since day one, since he started. And there's like, I don't know, some 15, 20,000 people in there now. He's won awards from YouTube. He's got the button, where is it? The button, the YouTube
well, I gotta
button.
get it now. It's just,
now
I'm
you
pretty
gotta
proud
do
of
it. Yes, this is really cool. But the last thing I want to share with you guys is the most important thing. Look at that. See, he's gotten that for the YouTube. Brian G. Johnson. So it's like, what you're building is an asset. You're building an asset. And one of the things I like about Brian and myself as well is that we built our wealth organically. If you look behind him and you look behind me, you'll see my books over here, and down below and down at the sides. You'll see Brian's books, and I have all of Brian's books because I've read this one 3 times. It's so darn beat up, but I still want to say I got the signed copy. Anyway, so
that's awesome, Vickie.
Yeah,
I'm so happy for you. And it's a lot of fun. And thank you for mentioning that group. It's funny. I mentioned my 12
It's right
steps.
here. Thank you. Thank you, Joan.
It's the Tube Ritual group. Is that what it is? Brian G. Johnson?
Mm-hmm.
Should be like just Tube Ritual too. It should be like
it's
Facebook.
Tube Ritual. Get the Tube Ritual up there, because that group is powerful. And also, Brian, I want to tell you something. I have not brought anybody to this show that I've not been involved with, that I've not, and I tell you what I've done with them. I tell you what I've learned from them. And I am going to tell you, if you want to learn YouTube, Brian is the best guy to learn from. He's very gentle and yet firm with you. If you're blocked
More
by
firm.
fear, yeah, if you're blocked by fear, he's going to push you through that, and it is going to be priceless. So one of the things I want to know is, how can they get involved with you? How can they get involved with you? And if you have like a program or something they can do, and everybody buy this book, go out and buy this book.
So thank you, Vickie, for that. And I do have a group coaching program, and it's cool because it's like I keep adding trainings to it. We get together at least once a month. In fact, I have a training today, and I'm super excited because I'm going to spill the beans, or as they say on YouTube, I'm going to spill the coffee, I guess. Spill the tea, actually.
Coffee, always coffee.
Spill the tea. It's like spilling the drama. But the video that I mentioned earlier is actually, I stole it from myself. It was my most successful video in 2019. And I literally made, it's not the same video, but the structure is the same. It's the same thumbnail template. It's the same title. It's the same compelling element. I even say the same kind of things in the first 30 seconds because I know that those 30 seconds got the viewers to watch the next 30 seconds. So I just like to really teach this stuff. And that's, again, the group coaching program. And if you look at any of my videos, you'll see a link to check out my group coaching program. And even better is when you click on that and sign up, you get a really in-depth 40-minute training for free, super, super in-depth. I literally, this was insane, Vickie. I spent 2 weeks. I spent 2 weeks creating a free training. I remember when I started, I wrote a sales page and I thought, you know what? This is good, but if I create a free webinar, then anybody that goes through it is going to get value. Yeah. At least I'm going to feel that way. And I'm proud of that training. People really like it. And then at the end of the 40-minute training, I kind of talk about my course and all the things that are involved. And like I said, I love to share with my group, and I love to see them move forward and grow and whatnot. And if you're free, I'm good for a few more questions.
Great, because I have one that I want to ask. Okay.
Okay.
So I want to be really clear in this. I don't think anybody else but Brian Johnson should do this right now. But I noticed that you decided to take on another genre for another YouTube channel, for 2 of them. And I am fascinated. I've been fascinated watching the whole structure of this. And it is an income channel. And I want you to say more about what that is and why you've done it. How did you, get to the point where you are taking on this new venture? And I don't think anybody should start let's start 2 channels. No, let's get one channel right. And then, so tell me about what's going on there.
Yeah. So basically my brand messaging, which is really powerful to add into your brand. And if you're thinking, I don't know what it is, of course you don't. If you're getting started, we all develop that over time. And my brand messaging is stake your claim, which I've had that for a long time. Like kick fear in the face, focus on the action, let go of the views you want and focus on the videos and improving. That's stake your claim. And then the second part is amplify your message, because I wanted my brand message to be about publishing content that grows a business, grows an audience, allows you to share a message you're passionate about. And it took me a while to come up with that. Amplify your message. I had other YouTube educators had spread the message. And I could copy that. And then I was like, share your message. And I'm like, that's boring. There's a ton of share buttons. I want something that's more me. And I came up with amplify your message. So I've always really been interested in basically like affiliate marketing, making money online, figuring out ways to do that. And when I started my YouTube channel, I wasn't sure exactly what it would be. And I think this is an important lesson right here, Vickie, is that if you try to figure out and you try to understand all that it will be in the early stages, you will probably continue to think and ponder because it's really hard to know. But I knew it would be about stuff that matters to me around audience growth and money and income. And it started to really focus around just YouTube and video. And as my audience grew, and furthermore, as I got this, so this is something that YouTube actually sends people that have an audience of over 100,000 subscribers. Pretty neat that they really value their creators to the point where they give them rewards. You know, I've got over 7 million views now. That's pretty amazing. And I don't know how many.
Imagine that, 7 million views. There are TV shows that don't get that. That's just, that's outstanding.
Neat, you know? And, you know, once I had got the silver play button, once I had really grown my audience, I thought, you know what? I do want to talk about other things. We all do. And this is so connected. But I feel like if I really go into some of the stuff I'd like to talk about, I'm going to alienate my audience on YouTube. For example, I love Kajabi. I think Kajabi is an amazing tool. I'd like to make videos about Kajabi one day, or maybe a cool sales funnel. Or I'd like to talk about how I got this book shared like literally 1,000 times in 6 months. People didn't share this book once on Facebook. They shared it multiple times. Like, I'd like to talk more about marketing. So that's when I launched Amplify Your Income. And I kind of told the story of my brand, because now it's like my brand is, you know, amplify your message and amplify your income, which is really cool. It makes it easy to remember and whatnot. And that's basically why I started it. So, and the other thing I want to say too is I really struggle, and I struggled a little bit to understand how to do both. Because as I mentioned, having one is super, super challenging and hard. And I don't want to see my channel survive. I said it would happen.
It's okay with me. It's going to happen. It's like, hey, feed the poodles. Feed the poodles.
So I'm going to go check on my poodles, and I'll be back in 2 minutes, and then we'll answer a few more questions if you're still game.
Yep. So I want to let you know right now that he is literally giving you thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth of information on his own for free, just to be kind to me. If you are looking to grow your message, to grow your channel, to go ahead and actually make a start of having to make money and growing your channel, this is golden. And he's doing this out of kindness. This is kindness in action right now. And this is how Brian G is. This is how Brian has always been. And I want to tell you, you want to be involved with him. He's got places where he just gives away to you the tools you need to grow your message, to grow your brand, to grow your tribe and serve humanity and serve the world better. And right now is the time. He's giving this to us for free. So if he's willing to stay on, I am going to stay on with him, because this is the place where you're going to get nuggets that you're never going to get again unless you dig for them. This is generosity at its greatest. And I want to say thank you. And I want to go ahead and let you be with, and so this is an interesting thing. So it's like, what is your engagement plan for subscribers or people who comment on videos? What's your engagement plan?
So mine is number one, again, back to the video. I find when you publish a video that the audience really loves, it happens automatically. So again, 7,000 feet. Poodles are downstairs now, but back to the question, like when you really focus and you continue to dial in and you create a video that they respond to, it'll happen on its own. That doesn't mean you shouldn't. And there's some pretty sneaky tricks that make it super easy to get people to comment and engage. And one of them is just to invite people in, and to make it easy for them to engage and leave a comment.
Yes.
So the thing to think about is if you ask a question and it's a hard answer, maybe it's like political beliefs or there's just a lot to it. It's more challenging to really figure out what to type in, or maybe it's like a book summary. But literally, if you say, so what is your stance on this one issue? Are you pro? Are you con? Or maybe you mention you're a food channel and it's like you're talking ice cream. Do you love chocolate or strawberry? Or maybe you're a vanilla person. When you lead with really simple questions, it's super powerful. And the other thing to say is when you generally are interested in people, that is enough to engage most people. And again, like a lot of times I don't ask for comments and likes, but I do feel like here's a more powerful trick. Make sure you really stare right into the lens, and like sometimes I'll do that, and I'll like then in my editing I'll zoom in, and when you do these kind of things, you really feel like you're facilitating a connection with one viewer. And this is like, for me, this is what engagement really is about, because I want you to think about how you consume videos. I bet it's kind of a singular activity where it's you by yourself with your phone or an iPad or your computer, and you're watching videos. And the very best content creators create this connection where you feel it's a
Yeah.
connection between the two individuals.
Yes.
And you move past the technology. And when you focus on that, you will have, I can't keep up with my comments today. I mean, I try, and it's very hard. I do my best.
Yep.
I've probably had in the last 3 days, I bet you I've had 2,000 comments. So
Yep. You know, it's interesting too, because Gary Vaynerchuk talks about this when he first started his channel, and he was, I think it was the wine show or whatever. He said every single day he would answer, every single day he would answer every single comment. And there's a point where sometimes I get off the show and there's 300 comments, you know, that you're commenting. And after a while, when there's thousands, that's a lot to do. That's a lot to do.
it is. And it's like, and this is where I go back to my core fundamentals. I feel if you do a really great job at what matters the most, I don't want to say it's okay not to respond to comments, because I answered every comment on my channel for probably a year and a half, where I just got to the point where I could no longer keep it up.
It's so hard to do after that while. I want to go.
And like, to be fair too, it's like some people will hire people to respond to comments. I just like to have a simple business. I prefer simplicity. I am a one-man show. Sometimes I hire out for video editing, but I think these are the powerful things to think about, though, when we talk about comments and engagement, is really focusing on that one-on-one kind of communication style. I want to share a few more tips, super powerful. Don't say, "Hey, everybody," because as soon as you do that, you just broke the intimate connection between that one viewer watching. When you lean in, you say, "Listen, I have something I want to share with you today." At that point, you're talking to that one viewer, and it becomes more of like, this is my pal that I relate to, and it's super, super powerful.
I love that. Thank you very much. Because I do that. I'm like, welcome everybody. And I'm going to go, hey, today's show is built for you. We're going to make incremental improvements. And I just did. That was good. Joan, what a great question. So how has your business been impacted since you've started your channel? Here's what I want to say. I'm going to make this quick because I really want to have Brian give us everything he can right now. And he's willing to, so I'm going to do that. But here's how it has improved. First off, my goal with this channel was I wanted to help people who serve people. I have guests that serve humanity, not just sell a product. Here's my new product. It really does this. Is if you serve humanity, I'm going to have you on the show. My goal with that is to make a piece of content that lets everyone win, so that he has a good piece of content where he can say, yes, I was on this show, I delivered this. They get to see the questions. He gets to see the questions they're asked, the statements they've made, people who love him. I want to make a piece of content for not just me to use, but for the person who's serving humanity to use, so that they can have a marketing tool as well. The second thing I want to do is create user engagement. So I use StreamYard. The reason I use StreamYard is that it allows me to go live on 5 platforms at once. So that's why we're using YouTube Live. I want him to get maximum results. I'm trying to create awareness for the person who is serving humanity. But I am very clear that it is the person who is serving humanity that goes out and tells everybody. So in other words, he'll tell anybody who wants to create a video, his whole thing. It doesn't matter what country you live in. Brian's video is there for you to watch so that you can improve your ability to have a great YouTube channel. That's serving humanity. The third thing it has is I already had a level of influence when I started. It's gotten better. It's gotten stronger. But the most important thing I have gained, Joan, and this is absolutely the key thing that Brian really pushed me through. I've gained more confidence. I've gained a level of authenticity. I've gained a openness with myself so much that I am not afraid to be who I am wherever I am 100% of the time. And that single thing was worth it all. And I hope that answered your question. So don't say, hey, everybody, talk to your audience individually. Thank you for that. That was a great tip, because every morning I have said, hey, everybody. I bet that even more important now that we're all on social isolation, we are starving for connection. And I want you to say a little bit more of how we can, here, this is what I use, StreamYard.com. Love this. This is what I use. And somebody asked earlier, Brian, I want you to go over this one because there's so many questions that have flown by on the stream there. I couldn't find it to put up there, but he said
no problem.
He wants to know what software you use, and is there a software you suggest for editing? And if you could talk about software really quick, that'd be great.
Right. So I think it's really important to first get honest with where you're at and how serious you are about YouTube. Now, if you're making videos for like Facebook, or if you're going live, you don't need a lot of fancy editing, but on YouTube, you can go there. Doesn't mean you necessarily have to. A lot of my videos can be fairly bare bones, but at the same time, some of them can be really intricate where I'll spend 10 to 15 hours editing one video. I'll use tons of B-roll. I'll use a lot of kinetic text, plugins, and I've taught me that, and I use Final Cut Pro. Now, if you feel like you are going to go YouTube and you really want to do YouTube and you value that, you enjoy it, then the thing to think about is I would encourage you to take the leap on a pretty, a higher level software package like Premiere Pro. I think, is it Premiere? Adobe Premiere.
Yep.
Or Final Cut Pro, which is what I use. Another one is DaVinci Resolve, which is, I think there's a free version, which is very, very powerful. And the reason to do this is it might be just a little bit more of a learning curve on the front end, but the amount of the learning curve versus something like Camtasia might not be that much more. And then you get to a point where like you're going to be comfortable with Premiere or front page, oh my gosh, Final Cut Pro. And then you can continue to learn. Like I do a lot of crazy stuff now with keyframings and color adjustments and LUTs and just different editing styles and whatnot that really make my videos awesome. And I think I would be limited if I would have gone with something like Camtasia. So if you're and if you're not quite there, if you're not sure, go Camtasia. But no, at some point, I'll probably want to reinvest and really get something that's a little bit more full featured. When we speak of editing, one of my favorite YouTubers, Casey Neistat, amazing YouTuber, he said that a great video is born in the edit. And I totally agree. One of a few tips on editing and making videos. I don't necessarily, I do two things to make my videos. One, I'll literally write out for 3, 4, 5 days a script of 2,500 words, 3,000 words. It's hard, it's time consuming, but it also produces amazing results. And then I'll go through and I won't really read. I don't use a teleprompter because remember, I'm after a deep connection with that one viewer. So what I do is I have my iPad. All my scripts are on my iPad. I set it right next to where I'm filming. And I'm like, the first few lines are this. And then I look right in the camera and I do the take. And almost always it takes me 2 takes. or 3 takes, and I don't move on to the next few lines until I'm confident that that was good. Then what happens is I might have 45 minutes of footage for a 6-minute or 8-minute video, but I cut out all the bad takes. And this is the difference. This is the discipline of a great YouTube video. You know, you're really looking for not a good video, because there's a lot of good videos, but a great video. But there's also that time, and this is really the way to do it. A lot of different takes, and then you cut out the bad, and then you can add images, graphics, and whatnot. And that's just a super powerful way to create a great video.
Thank you. I want to say I have used Adobe Premiere. I use Camtasia. Just begin. I want to let you know that if you can't afford software, this thing right here, just like Brian, he was like, Vickie, this is all you need to start.
Yep.
The thing is, if you know your audience, you know your message, you know that you're going to go out and you have to be just willing to step out there in the unknown and just open yourself up. You're going to make incremental improvements over time. Just start. The things will fall into place. Start with where you are, start with what you have, and get better over time. You know, you don't have to go, well, I'm starting right now, so I better get Final Cut Pro. Let's start with, Movie Maker. Just make something. Just do something first and
100%.
get out there. And as you get to the point where he said this, if you're serious about YouTube, if you're serious about YouTubing, then this is the place to go. Brian, I have run you for almost an hour and a half.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Thank you.
It was a lot of fun. This is my day just to chat with people, which is always nice. It was nice to connect. Thank you for having me on. It's been a pleasure.
I want to say you have dropped so many gems today. You've been so generous with your time. I'm so grateful, so grateful to you. You guys get involved with him right now. Go to the Tube Ritual group. Go subscribe to any one of both of his channels. Go watch him in action. You will see everything that he just talked about right there. Go do that today. I'm so excited that you're spending time with us. You guys, I will see you tomorrow. We'll do a wrap-up call. Brian, thank you so much for being on the Coffee Break Show. Mwah! Peace out. I love you all very much. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Vickie.
Thank you.